for the win. Got it! Luke May!
How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. It's a rapid reactions edition presented by Modelo. After the Tar Heels take care of East Tennessee State, 77-58, the final score. This was a competitive and close game in the first half. The Tar Heels, through the first 17 minutes, did not lead by more than 4. Then a nice push right before halftime has the Heels up 8 at the break, and then a dominant first 12 to 15 minutes of the second half. Carolina leads by as many as 27, subs a bunch at the end, and eventually wins by 19. So, Adam, some splits in this game that are relevant. The rebounding in the first half was 13-12 Carolina. In the second half, it was 22-11 Carolina on the glass. Points in the paint, first half, 14-14. Points in the paint, second half, 22-8 Tar Heels. There were some individuals who had huge games, but it felt like Carolina's ability to eventually dominate down low, both rebounding-wise and scoring-wise, the difference.
If you heard Brad Frederick on the halftime Tar Heel Sports Network interview, you could tell everything Jones just said was going to be a big point of emphasis. He was very frustrated with Carolina's effort, or as he said, lack thereof, and the fact that the Tar Heels only got one offensive rebound in the first half. Now, they didn't miss that many shots.
Yeah, they didn't miss many shots. Shot above 60% in the first half.
But they only got one of their misses, and then immediately in the second half came out and did much better. Caleb Wilson got an offensive rebound and a dunk like 65 seconds into the second half, and Tar Heels just took off from there.
So, Adam, look, we've talked a lot about Henry Vesaar and Caleb Wilson, but it's because they have been the most dominant forces for Carolina consistently throughout the year, and they controlled this game. Let's start with Vesaar. 26 points, 10 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, perfect at the free throw line. He has 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block as well. He was everywhere.
90.9% from the field is the 4th best shooting performance by a Tar Heel ever at the Smith Center and the 5th best by any player ever in the Smith Center. That's 40 years. And the reason we're still talking about both these guys is they don't have off games.
Yeah.
I think James Naismith might be surprised to know that when you have 2 really tall guys, it makes it a lot easier. This is something we possibly might have mentioned last year when the Tar Heels didn't have this. Now they do, and the ability to go down low and get a basket in so many different ways, and also both those 2 occasionally stepping out and shooting from the perimeter just makes offense a lot easier.
So Adam's going to talk to Henry Vesaar. I'm going to talk to Hubert Davis coming up in just a minute. You'll see those interviews. And Adam, again, another Caleb Wilson game where there was a spectacular player too, and we'll see it. But 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. Boy, East Tennessee State was really hounding him in the post. It seemed to bother him a little bit in the first half, but he found his way to another very productive game.
It was kind of interesting to see them play him that way, where it was clear they wanted to sort of be around him and bother him as much as possible because other teams are going to try to do that. And so it was nice to see how he would respond, and the answer was very solidly. Got to the free throw line a ton and knocked him down at a better clip than he did in the last game when he was just uncharacteristically off, and finishes with another near double-double.
So, Adam, in this highlight package that we are seeing of Caleb Wilson, he is we've seen the really impressive dunk. And look, I know Caleb Wilson's had a lot of dunks. This was an impressive dunk from Caleb Wilson.
Even by his standards.
Yes. There was a missed dunk that was really impressive, too.
He's going to get one of those that he missed where, like, he has these dreams of really dunking on someone from pretty far out. And I feel like it's going to happen at some point, and I hope it's at a home game so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because he's going to do it. And he's up now close to 35 dunks this year.
Yeah, he was at 31 coming into the game and had at least 2 tonight. So he continues to add to the dunk total. Well, Adam dunked all over this interview with Henry Vesaar, so we're going to see that. I spoke to Hubert Davis, more of a layup for me, but it was a dunk from Adam. We'll see those 2 interviews, come back, talk a little bit more about this, and then look ahead to Ohio State up next for Carolina. But first, let's check out our conversations with Coach Davis and with Henry Vesaar. Carolina gets the win over East Tennessee State in the Smith Center tonight, 77-58 the final score. This was a really close game in the first half. Carolina didn't lead by more than 4 points until the last couple of minutes of that first half, and then lead by as many as 27 in the second half. I'm with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis, and from your team, really good close to the first half as well. And in that stretch, what was your team doing well in your opinion?
I just thought we were really locked in defensively. You know, East Tennessee State was deliberate in their approach from an offensive standpoint, and then towards the end of the shot clock, they were getting into either one-on-one action or some ball screen action, and we just, you know, at the beginning of the game, just our discipline to finish out a possession. One of the things that we always talk about defensively is whatever it takes, whether it's 5 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it takes, let's get a defensive stop. We missed some box outs. And then you mentioned with about 3 minutes to go in the first half and then the rest of the second half, defensively, we were on point. I mean, we just really locked in defensively. We boxed out. We rebounded. We kept them out of the paint. We kept them really off the free throw line, and it allowed us to get out in transition. And, you know, we took care of the basketball on the offensive end. We want to dominate points in the paint. The reason, because Henry and Caleb are pretty good, and, you know, that opens everything up for us on the offensive end, and both of those guys were really good tonight. Rebounding
always one of your focuses. It was pretty close in the first half. You guys really controlled the glass after that.
Yeah, we did, and I just – I don't know, I guess as a head coach you want more, you know, and I just feel like we can be even better rebounding the basketball on both ends of the – our best offensive rebounding game. We talked about this was Kentucky, and then we came back-to-back. One of our lowest percentage offensive rebounds. I don't think we did very well tonight as well. So that's an area that we've got to improve on, not just for Saturday against Ohio State, but just moving forward the remainder of the season.
Coach, you mentioned Henry and Caleb, and I know we've talked about them a ton, but gracious, 46 points between the two of them, 16 rebounds. They're 16 of 23 from the field, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. These are all combined numbers. I mean, just dominant performance from those two.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why they've been dominant is, yeah, they can score, but they can really pass. And so when you put two on the ball with them, they're patient enough to be able to find the open man. And so whether it's a guy on the perimeter or one of another teammate cutting to the basket, they're really good at finding their teammates if they are double teamed. But, especially when we're able to get those guys on the move, whether it's a ball screen action or post on the move, it really gives them an advantage and an ability to be able to dominate points in the paint.
Just want to ask you about one more individual. Jaden Young gave you 13 good minutes off the bench. He had given you 7 good minutes against USC Upstate on Saturday. Just feels like a player who's maybe finding his role for your team right now.
Yeah, it is. I always tell the guys that, your number is going to be called, but I can't tell you when, where, how, and the manner in which it'll be called. But when your number is called, your job and responsibility is to be ready. And Jaden's number has been called more the last couple of games, and he has responded, not just knocking down shots, but just, his veteran leadership. He's an excellent defensive player. He's tough. He's physical. I thought he was huge for us in the first half, settling us and really led us into the second half, but he gave us some really good minutes off the bench.
So Carolina wins it 77-58. Tar Heels heading to Atlanta to see Ohio State on Saturday. Coach, congratulations on the win. 10-1 through 11 games. A pretty good record there for your team.
Yeah, it's a good start, but, there's a lot more improvement to go, a lot of hard work, and we'll have tomorrow off and then start to prepare against a very good Ohio State team coming up this Saturday.
Looking forward to being with you then as the Tar Heels win it again 77-58. Coach, congratulations. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right, see you on Saturday.
Guys, that's Hubert Davis after the Heels win by 19.
We're back with Henry Vesaar. Henry had a huge game as Carolina beats East Tennessee State, and Henry has done basically every media thing that you can do this week, so he's going to do another one. Henry, great win for the Tar Heels, great performance by you. What'd you think?
I feel like we had a great team performance overall, just being able to kind of execute. I feel like in the first half we started off a little bit slow because they were kind of hanging in there, but at the last media we kind of just came in as a group and we kind of flipped the switch energy-wise. We started trapping ball screens, like everybody was cutting passing lanes out. We put like ball screens like Jaden Young. He did an amazing job of being disruptive in ball screens and guarding his man. Like, they were getting nothing easy out of that. Then the second half, he kind of carried over that momentum, and we were moving the ball. I was getting easy looks, easy dunks, like Lucas' pass, JP's extra passes. So I feel like just overall as a team moving the ball, that helped us a lot.
They seem like they might be a hard team to play against. They're very intent on doing what they want to do. What was the message at halftime about just maybe having a little more energy?
I feel like, that wasn't like really about them. It was more us. I feel like that was the part that we know that however we play, we can dictate the game. Like, I feel like they definitely switched out, like, their scout. They didn't play how they usually do. They're usually, like, they trap all ball screens or hard show, and today they started off in a drop, so that kind of got us off guard. But I feel like we settled in, and then we did our job. And as long as we play our own game and play with effort and energy we need to be at, we're going to win games.
You were 10 for 11 from the field, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 2 of 3 from 3. That 10 for 11, the fourth best shooting performance by any Tar Heel in the history of the Smith Center. That's pretty good. That's 40 years. What is working with your offensive game, and how do you feel so comfortable all over the court?
I feel like just being strong with the basketball kind of around the rim and trying to finish to the basket, not leaning away from the basket, and just being able to kind of find the easy ones, go for the dunks. Like I said before, with dunks you get fouled or you make it. And then just doing that kind of overall, like, my team has found me for a lot of easy ones today, and just being able to knock down the threes, being ready whenever your moment is.
Okay, Henry's a big dog lover. Your puppy didn't win the puppy race.
Yeah, I'm sad to hear that. Yeah.
Did you give the puppy any sort of pregame advice? How did that happen? Not even a second place finish.
Yeah, I think I kind of knew it was coming. I was hyping him up, but it didn't work much because I think it was like 4 weeks old when I first saw it, and it was barely moving at that point, so it wasn't very energetic. It's more like a snuggles and cuddles person.
Not a snuggles and cuddles person right here. Henry Vesaar will put up some points and rebounds on you. Henry, thanks so much for doing this yet again. Great performance.
So those 26 points, by the way, for Vesaar is a new career high for him. He had 24 against St. Bonaventure earlier in the season. That had been his previous career high, but puts up 26 tonight again on 10 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, 4 of 4 at the free throw line. Really impressive. Adam, so you see, a bunch of nobody else scored in double figures, but you do see some nice minutes off the bench. Derek Dixon gives Carolina some solid minutes again. Jonathan Powell didn't shoot well in this game, but for the second straight game gave Carolina some good time off the bench. I mentioned Jaden Young to Coach Davis. He's starting to find a role off the bench. I think the Heels still looking for that backup in the post. James Brown had some active minutes, both good and bad, in this game. Zayden High didn't play a ton. I do think Carolina feels like it's starting to build some pretty good depth on the perimeter and at least give them some options when they need to go to their bench.
And I liked the willingness to play those options, even coming out to start the second half, going to the bench and starting Jonathan Powell instead of Luka Bogovac, who was zeros all the way across the board in the first half. And there have been times in the Hubert Davis era where I think people have wanted him to do that and kind of show someone who hasn't been very active, I'm going to play somebody else. And that's what he did tonight. And so a ton of Tar Heels played, and I think everybody probably goes home feeling like they did something.
So now sights turn to Ohio State. It's the last opportunity in the non-conference to get a really impactful victory. That's not trying to say anything negative about East Carolina, who the Heels also play, but they're sub 500 right now. Ohio State is 8-2, coming off a nice double overtime win against West Virginia. This is in that CBS Sports Classic. There's the potential that Seth Trimble returns as well. Seth has been practicing. Don't know if he will turn or not, but their potential is there. So there's a lot going into this game on Saturday for Carolina.
And I think this game will write the story on how you feel about the pre-conference part of Carolina's schedule. And again, no offense to East Carolina. Feels like the Tar Heels are going to probably win that one. This one, if you're able to get this one and you go into league play with only one loss, I think that's a really strong start to the year. If Ohio State, which is a tough, well-coached, physical team, is able to get the win, then I think people's feelings change a little bit. But the Trimble thing is a variable that, there's all this talk about, like, well, when should you bring him back? Well, you should bring him back when he's ready to play. Like, it's not like a sore knee that might get worse. It's a bone. So if it's healed, it's time to play. If it's not, no. That'll be the answer.
I asked Coach Davis on his radio show earlier this week, we had actually received the question about how does he start to integrate Seth Trimble back. He said, when he's ready, he's going to play. I'm putting him in as soon as he's ready, is basically what he said. So,
well, and having him in practice this week reminded you that he does do something Carolina doesn't have right now, which is drive by his man and go to the basket and finish more often than not. And that's something the Tar Heels don't have a ton, and that could potentially make Vesaar and Wilson even better.
They were pretty good tonight. They combined for 46 points and 16 rebounds on 16 of 23 from the field and 11 of 14 from the free throw line. Pretty good. And they carry Carolina to the 77-58 win. Now, game on Saturday, but that's in Atlanta, so no rapid reactions. But we do have one more before the holidays. That's after the ECU game on Monday, December 22nd. So still 2 more games before the holiday break for the Tar Heels. But for tonight, Heels win equal Heels happy equals we are happy. Tar Heels win it 77-58. That'll do it for us here on the latest edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions presented by Modelo.
Jordan, look at that!
May for the win. Got it. Luke May.
How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.